So here we are back again with another video. This time I'm just going to actually plug in this OBDeleven to see how we get on, see what sort of issues, if there is any codes that do come up with this Golf R. It has been sitting for quite some time again. I just literally spent a good bit of time cleaning up all the mold in the inside of it, mainly just because of the amount of water that was sitting in the boot. All removed now though, took all the boot lining out and stuff just there now, and I'm gonna actually just plug in this OBDeleven to see if there's any fault codes that come up. So let's get to it. So just before we get stuck into today's video, I do want to address some of the comments that I did get on the previous video based on the issues and stuff I've had with this car. A lot of them are just very derogatory towards how I've maintained the car and things like that, without actually knowing the full story. Lots of comments saying, oh, I've looked after the car so badly, claiming the mileage and stuff has nothing to do with the car's problems and stuff. From my perspective, like, this is a pre-owned car, and as long as I've maintained it well, there's nothing to say that the previous owners have completely thrashed through the car. Like, that is just the risk you take with buying pre-owned cars. As I'm sure a lot of car owners or enthusiasts are probably aware, you can buy high mileage cars with 1 or 2 owners and the cars are running completely 100%, or you can buy a car with 40,000 miles and it's had about 12 different owners and never seen an oil change in its life. My perspective is, this car has been completely maintained by VW, my local VW dealership, plus a VW specialist. It's always had its oil changed on the button in my ownership, good quality oil, and serviced when it's supposed to be, and that goes for everything. So the Haldex, the DSG box, the actual engine itself, there's so much money that has been spent on this car in terms of maintenance. So I was just a bit annoyed that people were saying, oh, it's per maintenance on my behalf, or just basically saying that it's my problem, it's my fault that this has happened to my car, when in actual fact, I don't know the previous owners of this car, what they done to it or whatever. They could have completely rattled the whole thing through, doing like 5,000, owned the car for like 5,000 miles each and completely thrashed it for that whole time. Just forgetting about all that, then we'll move on from it, and then saying that it is a car at the end of the day. I'm still deciding what the best option to kind of go with is. I'm more so swaying towards just getting the engine rebuilt. I've texted a few people in England to see if they can do it. From my perspective, it is a bit, although you pay a bit more money for rebuilding it, at least it's a brand new fresh engine and it's the same engine, instead of going and buying a pre-owned one that's, you don't know. Again, you can buy a pre-owned engine and it's completely destroyed, even though it has low mileage or whatever. Could be a ticking time bomb again. So I think the better option is to just take this engine out and get it sent across to someone in England to rebuild it. I'm kind of talking to a company called, I think it's pronounced Ares Tuning or Racing or whatever. They've given me a quote for rebuilding the engine. It's just me. You have to take the whole thing out now and get it sent across to them, essentially. Over here, there's not too many people that are even willing to look at it, So I think that the best option for me is to take the engine out and send it over there. So in terms of actually diagnosing the problem with this car, I'm not sure, just going to use my new OBDeleven. I had one of these before, but it actually did break. A lot of people were saying, you're not going to see a lot of issues or codes. It's not going to tell me that I've main bearing failure or whatever, or the crankshaft's totally fucked on it. But you do always forget how small these little OBDelevens are. So tiny. But yeah, let's get it plugged in and see what the story is. Don't mind the ignition being on, but I'm sure you're all aware of how these work. You just plug them into the port down underneath here. The OBDeleven should light up red like so. So yeah, that's it. So I've completely forgotten about how to actually use these OBDelevens. I'm pretty sure the only thing that has to be on is the ignition, but I'm just going to double check to make sure that that is the only thing. So yeah, let's do that. So yeah, just after reading through the manual, the only thing was exactly as I thought or remember. Plug it in, turn the ignition on, and it's all done through an app, so pretty easy on OBDeleven's behalf. Pretty sure I do have credits on it as well. If I need to code or do anything in the future when this car's back up and running. But yeah, let's get to it. Don't mind the clip of my car in the back of a trailer in the background, but just as we're going through this app, this is how it's used. The car is scanned. It does take a good few minutes to actually go through. I've just sped up the process and cut a lot of the stuff that's not needed out of it. But once fully scanned, it gives you a breakdown of all the different ECU components that were scanned. And we can see here that by clicking into the engine one, 3 faults were found. It's worth noting that the fault codes are color coded, with the orange being a bit more detrimental to the running of the engine. And we can see that the code here is P03A500, cylinder 2, pressure too high. Definitely not something you want to see on your engine. Just in terms of what you can actually do with this information, you can see there it says freeze frame data. So you can check when something went wrong, or you can check the live data. You can do long coding, adaptations. On top of all this, you can do the one-click apps, which is just an easy way to actually customize your car, such as pace indicators or beeping when unlocking or locking. As you can see here, I've clicked into the central electrics because it was orange, and there was 2 faults found. One to say that the remote key the battery was too low in it, and the other error was basically for the bonnet being open. Clicking into the adaptive cruise control unit, you can see there's also 3 faults. The 3 faults are to do with the actual misalignment of the adaptive cruise control sensor. Nothing crazy, they've never really bothered me. The cruise control just doesn't really work. You can see just on the screen here that you can go through all the actual control modules of the car. Overall, it's just a good thing to have. So as we can see from that quick scan we did with the OBDeleven device, the code that did come up for the engine was that cylinder 2 pressure was far too high. Obviously I'm not a mechanic, so I don't really know what that can tell you, but just from looking online on Google and stuff like that there isn't much information, and it does seem like it's a common enough thing, especially since the car has been tuned. So I'm going to also just give my mechanic a call to see what they think of it, and who knows, maybe the engine is actually savable in this thing if it's something similar, something small or whatever. We'll just have to see. So here we are back again. I'm just going to take the oil filter out quickly to see if there is any sort of filings or whatever in the oil. Let's just have a quick look and see. So it is a 32mm socket. Just going to literally pop this off quickly and see what the story is. Might need 2 hands. So this should be pretty easy then to take off. I'm hoping that there is no oil filings, or if it's not looking glittery when I take this up. Spot the old cable management here, the bonnet latch failure, typical Mark 7. So let's just have a quick look at this. It does actually look like there is a little tiny bit of oil filings in there, metal filings. Not what you want to see, obviously, when you're in any engine really, but yeah, so that's the story with that. Pretty much that tells us what we need to know with regards to the actual engine itself. So yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like and subscribe button for more Golf R related content. I don't really plan on selling this car anytime soon, and I do plan on fixing it. Hopefully better than it was before and a lot more reliable. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Just as another side note, on the last video, did get a lot of views and a lot of comments but a lot of the views were from people that weren't actually subscribed to the channel, so it'd be good to get a lot more subscribers again, just as mentioned previously in the last video, just for more golf related content or any car in general. Another problem with a golf car. This fucking good pipe. Look at the shape of that. If you have a Golf R or any sort of Mark 7, you know the story of these things.